back to another glorious episode of Spirits, Angels, and Guides. Oh my, I'm Nancy Christine Brady.
And I'm Tara Diana, and today we have got you. So grab your favorite bevy and look at my bevy today, friends. Look,
Love it. What does
all
yours
about the
say, Jodi?
Halloween.
Mine says the fall of the patriarchy is my favorite season.
That's
That's
a whole
good.
nother
Love that.
episode, my friends. A whole nother episode.
It's my
So
fall mug.
I love it. Grab your favorite bevy, as we all have, and let's get to it.
Excited. Tara, do you want to tell everyone who we have joining us today?
Okay, so this is our Halloweeny event. We've been doing Halloweeny all month, my friends, but now we bring you a bona fide witch.
Dun-dun-dun.
I just wanted to say it. Bona fide witch, self-proclaimed bona fide witch, whatever that means. But she is a witchy poo of all sorts. And this is my lovely friend. Jodi and I have been friends for eons now, watched our kids grow up. Jodi Ann. Welcome. Welcome, Jodi Ann.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, baby. Look at all our cute hats. Let's
Oh
have
my
a
God.
moment for the hats, please.
Oh, yes. So, of the listeners who are not watching us on YouTube, we are all wearing amazing witchy hats. So, go to YouTube and check it out so you can see. I think each of our hats fits each of our characters.
I think
It does. It totally does.
Our person.
I'm not gonna lie. I really, really love Jodi's hat. It reminds me of Oogie Boogie for some reason. From
I've had it for years. I love wearing it to events too, because I really love wearing that label of witch. So I'm just going to dive right into it. So I am a self-proclaimed witch. I specifically choose that label because it makes people go, what? Makes people go, hey. And because I could call myself a metaphysical worker, a light worker, a healer, a medium, a tarot reader, and I do those things, but it all fits under the umbrella of witch. And I love that label because it's like taking back the power, taking a word that was used to shame women in power and flip it on its head and say, I am a woman who is empowered. Do you fear me? Maybe because I'm a witch. Why do you fear me? Maybe you should look at that. Maybe that's a you thing, not a me thing.
it's a word thing. Let's be honest. It's
It
a
is.
word thing, boo boo. It's like people get bent out of shape when you use the word need or you use the word control. All bent out of shape. They see witchy because people have put in. I'm going to use a word I don't think is an actual word. Incantation, is that a word? They put something on.
A connotation.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever it is. That label.
Incantation, the spell.
That's a
Incantation
spell.
is a spell. Connotation is from English 101.
I'm going with English 101 for what I'm trying to say. So English 101. So that we put a meaning, we put a label almost on a word, right? So that now which has this evil, nasty kind of feel to it. What the freaking fluff? That is a man. Where's your cup? Put your cup up. It's a cup thing.
Well, and that's why I use it, right? Because I love doing the empowerment work. I love doing the healing work where we're chain breaking, where we're busting through your outgrown thoughts and beliefs so that you can really transcend and rise above and step into your best life.
Okay, Jodi, being a witch.
Yeah.
And Halloween, girlfriend.
Oh,
Halloween, right? All the little skeletons. This is
I'm
my
going to tell
pendulum.
you, I have to tell you something. So my boys are teenagers now. Tara and I raised our kids. They're, you know, and my middle guy, he like stretched the other day his long floppy arms because he's a tall gangly boy, and I'm like, watch out for the skull, and he's like, do you ever wonder if people think that our house is weird, Mom? Like, we do have a lot of skulls and bats around. And then the two of them started, because we do have a lot, like you can even see my altars behind me. It's out all the time. And I do love like witchy decor and Halloween decor. So there are bats around my house, there are skeletons, there are these things. And they just laugh about it now. You know, like, when are we putting the skeleton out? It's October. Is he staying till Easter this year in the corner, Mom? Are you ever putting him away? And I'm like, no. But all jokes aside, it is a spiritual practice for me.
Mm-hmm.
It is about connecting. So for me, it's about connecting to the deities that I work with. So I work very closely with Freya, and I choose to look at the energy as a giant disco ball. Okay. If you think of source energy as the giant disco ball, and every god and every goddess is a facet on that disco ball, lighting up and sending out rays and beauty and love. It's all love. It's just what facet you're looking at. So the source energy is the same. I
Mm-hmm.
work with Freya. I work with the Morgan. I work with a little bit with Loki. I work a lot with Pan. I work with different pantheons. I work with Isis and Anubis from the Egyptian pantheon, and I treat them as personalities.
Right.
I
Right.
love that aspect of it because I feel like in the spiritual path that we're in, these ancient gods and goddesses really reflect humanity. Please,
I
please.
love that because a lot of people have a really hard time. A lot of people who are not immersed in the witchiness or the spiritualism or whatnot, they're just coming into this and they're like, "Well, what do you mean you channel this? It's energy." So when you say person, we're not channeling per se. This it's energy, it's personality. I love that. I love when you said that. It's a personality. It's what are they representing is what we're
Mhm.
channeling.
Mm,
Yeah. And it's all source energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's
yeah.
all that light and love. When my kids were really young, I really connected to that energy of Isis.
Mm,
She's a mother goddess. If you look at icons of Isis, she has her child on her lap, and it looks so much like the Christian Madonna. The iconography is very, very similar. And it's interesting because if you do like the scholarship work, if you go into the books and you get off Google and you get into some real anthropology books, story loves, but you got to get to the real information. All the different peoples across the world before electricity, before boats, all had very similar belief systems,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, very
right?
much.
That
Mhm.
the animal system, like if you wanted to connect to the animal world, you went under, you went through a crack, you went through a root system, you went down. If you wanted to connect to your ancestors, you went across a water. Like so many peoples of the world, indigenous peoples, have crossing water as part of the stories of transcending to the other side.
Mhm,
Water is huge for the indigenous.
mhm,
And then you look at like there's this source above, there's this source coming down, whether it's the sky people, whether it's the star people, whether it's the sun gods, right? There, it's all the same story. So it must be true. There's no way that our First Nations here in Canada and the people who are in the middle of like Africa and stuff could have the same stories if there wasn't truth in it.
Right.
So
100%.
that's where my practice goes to. I try to go back to the deep wisdom of the wise women and our grandmothers.
Tell me, who is your familiar? And talk a little bit to the audience who might not be familiar with familiars and explain it a little bit for them.
Okay, so this is all from my experience. So right now, my animal familiar that I work with is an actual animal that walks around the earth.
Oh,
And it is my dog, Miss Lunabelle. One of the things she does when I'm doing readings and healings, you cannot keep her out of a healing room. You cannot keep her out of a tarot reading.
yeah.
And she'll be sitting like lying doing nothing, and as soon as my client starts to emote, that dog is there.
Mm-hmm. Cookie was like that.
And she grounds people's energy. She brings comfort and grounding, especially my clients who I'm just going to get really real. There are clients out there who feel shame about getting in touch with their grief, their fear, their anger. There's a shame piece around their emotiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Lunabelle helps that.
I love
Nice.
that. I love that. My Dory's the same way.
So I really believe that animals come here as a partner to us. Now, not every animal I've had has been a familiar. I've had a cat that was definitely not a familiar for me. Um, our childhood dog, probably not. My dog Muggles, yeah.
Yes, Muggles. I love Muggles so much.
Oh, he didn't even feel like a dog. He felt like a fey creature that lived in my home.
Oh.
Muggles was the best name for that dog. Like,
Yeah.
no lie.
So explain the term familiar to our listeners, just so they understand
It would
that
be
it's more than just a household pet, right?
it's an animal who, so in the witchy world we talk about contracts. We talk about energy contracts. You have a contract with your guides, you have a contract with your deities. There's a lot of boundaries, there's a lot of very defined boundaries because we work with very high vibrational energy. So you have an energetic and emotional contract with this animal, and it helps you spiritually.
Mm.
I love that.
So think about, if you want to think about it, like some people have a beautiful, wonderful pet. That's their lovey pet. Some people have cattle dogs, and cattle dogs work their cattle for them. It's a different relationship. Some people have seeing eye dogs or emotional support animals that are in a contract to assist that human on this mundane plane. So a familiar is similar to that, except it's on a spiritual plane. Same kind of working relationship, different arena. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to say this though about familiars is that it's not just a witchy thing. I mean,
Mhm.
many different power animals, spirit animals. Nancy can go on
Mm.
and on and on forever about this, and I think we do have an episode, in the past about it. But I love the fact again that, and this is going off. I really want to get back to Halloweeny soon, but
That's okay.
I just want to say that, I find it very hard for people to understand, um, and really feel it. So what I mean by that is there's a lot of people that want to know who their soulmate is, right?
Mm.
So because people have talked about soulmates and you have
Mm.
to find your soulmate. I am so not a soulmate twin flame person.
Mhm.
You don't come to me to find your soulmate because there could be many people in this world that will fill your cup in a way that would feel like a soulmate. There's not just one, and your soulmate could be, your dog, right? We talked about it can be your mom, it could be some person that you've not even come into contact with. So, familiars, I feel, people, kind of dance around that idea of like, oh, every animal I have, this is my familiar. I love this animal. You can love an animal with all your heart, and that animal love you with all your heart, and it might not be your familiar though. So,
Mhm.
we talk about familiar, and I'm going to just put it out there. I have many dogs in my life at any given time. I have many dogs in my life. And out of the dogs that I've had, the Daisy, Cookie, Honey, DOG, the original DOG, Sammy, the only ones that I feel that that came to me with purpose, came to me was Cookie and it's
Mhm.
Honey.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now they all come to me. I love them all. Like my Sammy's laying here. He's going for dental surgery, but he's laying here probably sulking because he knows he's going. But I love him with all my heart, and he's the bestest dog, but not my familiar. Honey's my protector in a way
Yes.
that you feel it at that spiritual level. And Cookie was just, you talked about a dog. When we used to read for the Indigenous, she would be up there on their laps as they cry. She would be just like so in there. But again, if you were wearing, a helmet or anything, she'd attack you. But that's another story for another time. So I just wanted people to know that you can love your dog and your dog can love you, your cat, your ferret, your fish. That's a shout out to Kiara Fish. Um, you can love that with all your heart, and it doesn't have to be your familiar though.
And that doesn't make you less spiritual than someone else.
Exactly.
It's like if it's not your twin flame, it doesn't mean it's not real love.
That's it.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Amen. Word to the wise, louder for those in the back.
I'm
That is,
picking up what you're putting down, my
thank
sister.
you. Thank you. Halloween, October
Yes.
31st. You were
Yeah.
talking about deities, you were talking about goddesses.
Mhm.
Any specific goddess you use around the Halloween time? All Saints Day, November 1st, All Hallows Eve. Woo, I've got shivers. I love it so much.
So I'm always giving offerings on my altar and also in my life for my gods and goddesses that I work with. And offerings can be something big or they can be something small. Like one of the things I have been doing, and I did it in a workshop we did for one of our beautiful summits we do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm carrying forward the story of Sedna because she's a less known deity. She's one of our
Water.
First Nations water deities. So if you're here in North America on the cold West Coast with us, you know our water feels different than when you go down to Mexico. So the energy, the deity in the water is Sedna. Go look her up, people. Part of my work with her, she has done so much healing with me. I am carrying her story forward. I'm screaming her praise and I sing for her when I'm on the water. Like some of the things I give her are my song. When I'm on the water, when I'm paddleboarding, when I'm surfing, that's my worship to her.
Right.
Halloween, I spend more time with my ancestors. This is a time where traditionally the veil goes thin.
Yeah, truth.
It is as we start, and I really feel like it's because, like, look outside, everything is shedding. The leaves are coming down. We're harvesting. We're pulling everything in. The earth is getting rid of, the whole fauna and flora is dying. And that's okay because it's a cycle,
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
right? So it's that energy of death that's all around us that helps create this thinned veil. And I use this time to connect deeply with my ancestors, to give thanks for everything they do. And if you want to start somewhere with witchcraft, reach out to your ancestors. There is no one on this earth, God or deity or anyone, who has suffered more, who has told more, or who cares more about your plight in life. Think about what your grandparents went through just to put food on the table. Now go back 5 more generations and think of what those people had to go through. Maybe they had to flee war. Maybe they had to flee famine. No one is more invested in you than those deities.
Oh, I
You
love
give
this.
them a little bit of love, they will come forward for you. They will support you, especially in your healing. Because when you heal here on this plane, it ripples through them all. It goes forward to the children unborn and it goes backwards to your ancestors who need freeing.
Like a karmic clean.
Yeah. So that's where I start with Halloween or Samhain, as we say in the British traditional kind of Gaelic Celtic land,
Oh my
which is
God,
my
I said it wrong
ancestry.
for so long.
Because of Glenn Danzig's band was called spelt Samhain and pronounced Sam Hain in every single punk rock circle in the world, sister.
Okay, so I would like to thank you for that. I would just like to thank you for that because because I'm also one of those people that pronounce words the way
Yeah.
they're spelt. So I pronounce it exactly the way it's spelled. So I'm like, what do you mean it's not called? I was mortified. I was so mortified, but now I've got it. I'm good. I'm good.
Blame Glenn Danzig. He should have done his research when he named his band that and taught us all how to say it.
Samhain.
Glenn.
Samhain. Listeners, you want to say Samhain.
I love that. The ancestors, because the veil is the thinnest between the two worlds at this time. And I always give actually energetically, the way I work, I always feel it 3 days before and 3 days afterwards. It gives about a week of energy work with the powerhouse being the day of. And for me, it's also the turn of the wheel. So let's have a little chit chatter about that, my sweet little love muffin.
Mhm.
From your
Well, the Celtic or British traditional witchcraft wheel of the year. And that's what I followed because I was like originally initiated as a Wiccan. Then I moved to British traditional witchcraft. Now I'm doing like this real eclectic, earth-based, like style. I've been doing it a long time. I'm pretty free flowing.
I love it though. That's authenticity at its
Yeah.
highest and best, bitch.
Yeah. So there are 4 major holidays and 4 minor holidays.
Yeah.
The 2 solstice
Yep.
and the 2 equinoxes. So the solstice, or the longest day and the shortest day, right? They coincide with around the 21st of June, 20th of June, and around the 20th, 21st of December. And then you have the equinoxes, which are equal light and equal dark. So what is it? September 21st, we just went through an equinox. And
September 21st is fall and March 21st.
March, yeah, because
autumn.
March comes before April. Yeah, March. And now what's fun is that Samhain kind of falls in one of the minor holidays, but we have made it a super huge holiday because it is the new year. It is actually the start of the year for witches. I don't know if it's the start or the end, I guess, whatever. Because everything dies and we go into incubation after it to spring forth in the summer.
Wheel of the Year. I find it's actually, for me, for whatever reason, way more powerful. Once I incorporated that into my world, you know, January 1st has way too much expectation on it. And so for me, you know, and I'm not afraid, new beginnings can start, you know, February, you know, August, I don't care. So new beginnings for me can start at any time, you know, where you reset. And again, I'm not afraid of that. If you want a new you, new year, new you, then do it, baby. Do it. You know, if you need to set expectations that you may not live up to, I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. Do you know what I mean by that?
No, you can. If you're called at any time for a new you, just do it.
Yeah, and if it doesn't work out, it's okay too.
Yeah.
I think that we put so much, you know, oh, you're gonna, you know, December they start putting out the gym memberships. Oh, come. You know, because you know you're not gonna do it after like February. Oh, okay, well, thank you for that, friend. Thank you for setting me up for success. But the other thing is like, so what if you don't?
Yeah.
So what if you don't? What if there's something else that calls to you? What if there's something, what if it's just not the right time? There's so many things to add to that. So I love actually having that my end of the year being October 31st, we celebrate it with chocolate, which is like my thing. So we celebrate it with chocolate. We celebrate it with some little ghoulies. You know, we do whatever it is that you do for your own personal self. I do a candle, I do a ritual for me, I do a ritual for other people. And then I move into November 1st being like, okay, babies, what's up next? What's up next?
I incubate a little longer. So
Yeah.
because so you know how you say, babe, that you do oracle cards because you're lazy? I feel like I do witchcraft because I'm lazy, right? Like, because I just go outside, look outside. I'm like, what is the whole world doing? What is the earth doing? I'm going to ride that wave. Well, the earth is harvesting. I'm going to use that energy to get my gratitude going. I'm going to use that collective energy of every snail and slug and tree and person and everything and the stars. And I'm just going to line up with that and allow it to be easier. So then I just kind of do all my harvesty stuff. I think about all the things I love and I do some shedding. Like, what do I need to let go of? And this last eclipse, like I've been like, whoa. It feels like every spell I've been doing for the past 3 years on healing has all kind of come together and just been like, okay, that work is done, girl. New is coming. And I can feel it. Get this. 3 of my bracelets that I wear all the time, broken. Like doing nothing, just like, and they're crystal bracelets. So I'm like taking off my hoodie yesterday, all over the floor. I'm like, thank you, friend, for serving me. I guess I'm not in that energy anymore. And about 3 weeks ago, another one broke. And I'm like, whoa, okay. I don't need to wear that one anymore. It's done with this, right? And just like little things are happening all over. My dreams have been wild, just little sheddings and little things.
It's funny that you bring that up, Jodi, because Tara and I were talking about that, how it's almost like this intense accumulation right across the board with everyone we know right now to get ready for this massive sort of leveling up, like release everything. I feel like the earth, there's a vibrational shift and change. Like around Halloween, I do a little bit more work with elementals and with tree spirits and stuff like that. And so for me, even the vibration feels different. Like it's like about to just, something's about to give, kind of like when you pull an elastic so tight that it's either going to snap back or it's going to break.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's awesome though. I love the whole shedding. If you could offer anything to our listeners, what would be a very nice simplistic ritual that they could do to celebrate Samhain?
Oh, I would go to ancestor work. So I would look for a photograph or a memento or something of some of your ancestors. And just like Tara said, like about 3 days before, I would just get go buy a beautiful candle. And when you're home, safely burning things, when you're home, not with your cat walking around and wind and draperies, but light that candle for them.
Mm.
And just like, and you can judge these words any way you want, but like a little prayer or a little incantation, just kind of like, I light this candle and I
Mm.
honor all that you've done and all that you have gone through to bring me here today. I thank you.
I love that. And it's
I
so
do
simplistic.
too.
Anyone can do that, right?
Yeah, and really feel into it, right? Because we really do stand on the shoulders of our ancestors.
Mhm.
Oh, I love that so much, Jodi. I'm going to go back and I'm going to write it down and we're going to put it up on our Instagram for people.
Oh,
Powerful too, right?
yeah.
Great.
And there's teachings in that, like when we buy something beautiful and we let it burn down, and if it doesn't burn all the way, when you're done with like your 3 days before and 3 days after, throw it away. That was your gift to the
Mhm.
ancestors. They are worth the $5.99.
Okay, quick.
Yes.
Number 13, what's it mean to you?
It actually reduces to 4, so it's kind of a stagnant number where nothing moves.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so weird. The reason I asked that, you guys, because I'm listening to a podcast called Paralyzed, and it's all of a sudden it's about this creepy witch in the woods and 13 and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna throw it out there. I was walking the dogs this morning. What is it? They're stagnant. Well, that's no fun.
I know, I'm like a real witch. Sorry.
I thought you were gonna say it's the coven and it's the number. Okay, what does
I
it?
know everyone says like it's the number in the coven and blah blah blah, but like my coven has 3 right now. I've been in a coven of 5. I've actually never had enough modern witches organized to have a coven of 12. Because they say it's 12 and then 1 for your high priestess. You're all equal in a coven.
Okay, quick, black cat.
Black cat. I like them because I
Well,
really like black cats because there's this stigma around them that they're evil. So more people, this is hard to hear, but more people harm them than any other cat. I just feel like love.
anything superstitious about him that comes up for you though?
Oh, yes. Yeah, lots of superstitions. These are from my Catholic family. Don't ever put a hat on a bed. Um, and I don't like if I see a black cat, I don't want it to cross my path. So I will like call it to me so that we have a little bit of love session.
Oh, that. Okay, broomstick.
Oh, broomsticks are very powerful. So you want to remember that women of power, witchy women, wise women lived in secret for a long time because the patriarchy sucks. So they would use household tools. So when we're sweeping, and you can do this, my loves, take your room spray, your sage spray, whatever, your aura spray it on your broom, intentionally clean your house.
I
Mm.
freaking love
Sweep it
that.
out.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing.
God, I'm gonna have to transcript this whole thing and put it on Instagram. What the hell?
Like witchcraft is easy, right? Like a lot of our tools, like our cup is all about manifestation, right? It's people like it's kind of like that womb space.
Mm-hmm.
Women are so powerful.
Mm.
Like we are creation.
Truth.
We are the water.
Okay,
Yeah.
one more, and then
Okay.
Nan's gonna get to her questions.
Okay.
Okay. I have Newt.
Ooh, Shakespeare. So
Girl!
that always makes me think of the 3 witches in Macbeth. Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. But I do know that a lot of those things like Eye of Newt and Dragon's Blood and all these things, these were code names used in books so that people couldn't figure out your spells.
Okay, that's what I was looking for, baby. That was the yes.
Yes.
Love
So
it.
there's all these things like things that like dragon's breath and stuff like that. So sometimes they were like herbs and plants that had like a different name so that people couldn't figure out your spell, because people really made potions and poultices. You got to remember, these things are coming from a time when we didn't have doctors. We didn't have PharmaSave.
Right.
We didn't have aspirin.
Yeah.
Right. So we went to our healers, we went to our medicine women, and our medicine men, we went to our medicine people, and they had specific recipes, so they were saving them.
Yeah,
I
I've
love
got a hilarious story, you guys. It's super quick. Years and years and years ago, my good friend Tina Clelland, she called my husband as a joke, and I was out. And she called him up and she said, "Hey, Mike, is Tara there?" Now, first of all, she called on the house phone, which is weird all in itself, but and he's like, "No, she's not home." She's like, "Oh God." She says, can you tell her when she comes home? I don't know I'm making a soup right now, and I don't know what to do with the eye of newt. I don't know. And we just there was a little more to it, but it was so funny when he was like, he totally didn't react. And when I came home, he's like, Tina called you and she needs eye of newt. I was like,
I don't know where you keep your spices, man. Might be by the paprika.
she needs an eye of newt." People just don't have the same sense of humor as me and my beautiful peoples. Anyway, Nan, sling
All
the
right.
question at the tarot slinger.
All right, we're slinging some questions. So I have mine's twofold question, Jodi. Ready?
Okay.
What is the best advice that you've received in your development? And what is the best advice you would give?
I think the best advice, and honestly, Tara, I believe this was from you.
Oh, boo boo.
Right.
I think the best advice was to trust that the way you get your information is right and perfect, because everyone does this differently.
I actually remember that conversation. And
Yeah, because
how
I
beautifully
get caught
done.
up in like perfectionism, and I get caught up in, oh my God, am I enough? Oh my God, could I possibly be special enough to do this? My way doesn't look like your way. Clearly, that means I'm less than. I told you, big shedding this year. All of that,
Yeah.
I think, has gone.
And what's the best advice that you would give?
What's been coming up a lot when I'm teaching now, that I'm hearing my guides whisper over and over in my ear, is to remind people that you don't have to develop overnight. Spirit will wait.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And my life is proof of that. Like, I was working and developing, like, and working professionally 27 years ago when my daughter was young.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided to go back to school and change my muggle career. And for 6 years, I could do nothing because I was like raising a toddler, and I was in school full time, and I was working. I had no time for development. Spirit was not mad.
Mhm.
Uh-uh.
And then again, I went through a phoenix fire in my life, and I knew they wouldn't abandon me, but my energy was so full of grief, and I was processing so much, and I was like just going through so much. I couldn't even hear my guides
Mhm.
because my vibration was low at that point. But they kept giving me pennies and dimes and feathers and signs, and just being like, that's okay. We're here. We're here. We're waiting. And when I went back to my spiritual practice as service to others, it was fine.
Yeah,
So spirit
exactly.
will wait for you. They're actually not in time. Like, time doesn't even exist to them.
No,
So,
they don't.
just if you're just getting your feet wet and you're new and life takes over and you have to care for people or care for yourself, there's no pressure in this. You're
Yes.
actually in the exact perfect place right now. Even when it feels uncomfortable, it's perfect for you.
Okay,
Tara.
my question, girlfriend. If you could have spiritual tea with anyone, who would it be and why?
Like any human or like anyone.
Any
Anyway.
spiritual, so anything, deity, entity.
You know what though? I think it would be my grandmother's.
Mm.
Oh,
Right? And I don't want to choose between my dad's mom or my mom's mom. I would be, because I feel like,
have a tea party.
yeah, that I want them both, because I feel like they have so much wisdom. They support me so much. I'm going to cry. They support me so much. And when they were here, our relationship was grandparent to child, and they died before it could ever be an adult woman to another adult woman. And I would love to get that wisdom.
Yeah.
Because I get a lot of my mom's mom, we call her Gigi, Grandma Grace, Gigi. I get a lot of her wisdom through my close relationship with my mom, but I don't get the wisdom from my dad's mom. And she was a deeply, deeply spiritual woman. In her religion, you could see her faith. And I think it would be very, very interesting to know her as an adult person.
Oh, I do too, for sure.
Because I think like any deity, I could just channel them.
Of course.
So, but yeah, the people I think would be.
I love it. Beautiful.
Me too. Jodi, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, you know what's beautiful? I'm just going to say something. What's really beautiful about this episode is like Samhain and Halloween. Like Halloween's like super fun and it's my favorite. And I'm going to go do like all kinds of fireworky, good, yummy, delicious candy stuff. But the actual energy of this episode has been very Samhain-esque. Right? Not like pub crawl party Halloween, but like that deep beauty of this time of year.
I love it. I love Halloween for all sorts of reasons. Fall is my favorite time of the year. I struggle a little bit now in it, but it is my favorite time of year. And again, if you're doing the work, if you're sitting in the power of the fall equinox, you will be doing powerful work. And if you can add to it, Samhain and that type of energy, then you're just leveling yourself up.
Agreed.
Love you, Jodi Ann.
I love you guys.
We love you
too. I wish.
Well, that's it for today's episode, Spirit Gang. We hope you enjoyed diving into all things witchy with our lovely Jodi Ann. And don't forget to join us next time for more spiritual insights, stories, and guidance.
Make sure you're following us, guys, on Instagram for updates, behind the scene peeks, and a chance to ask Nan burning questions. We got to start doing that, Nan. We got to start getting those questions. And maybe I'll even jump in and help answer them too, because we love to give good old spiritual advice. And of course, give us the reviews, babies. We can't do this without you. So the reviews, the likes, the love, share with us, share with your friends, share with anyone who you think would love to join our spirit gang. Just anyone off the street. You just never know.
Thanks for tuning in as part of our journey. Until next time, stay connected, stay inspired, and keep shining your beautiful lights.
See you next time on Spirit Angel.